Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sears. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name's Mike P. Waworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most, here on the Rundown 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
That would be Monday.
Monday, yeah. It's Monday.
Monday. Fun day. Gun day.
What up? Monday's just we're happy to be alive day.
Mondays are always kind of just it's always like, okay, I'm resolved myself to the fact that I'm going to be working all week.
Yes. Yeah, except Friday. I'm going to say
except
right now,
Friday.
I'm not going to be here for
Right. Well, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is the maybe, because I'm trying to start the weekend on Wednesday, and Thursdays I'm hoping and I'm trying, and by Friday I know it's coming.
That's it.
At least that's the plan.
Much correct. Yep.
Do anything in particular this weekend?
I didn't even know today was Monday, so I'm going to go with no.
He's going to go with no. Didn't even know it was Monday, so I'm going to just go with no. Okay.
No.
I can appreciate that. Mondays and Fridays, I always try to make a little bit lighter, and I have epically failed. They get busier every week. I always have more and more stuff that I've got to get done on Mondays in particular. But yeah, it is what it is, dude.
Yeah, listen, Saturday's the big show, right? I get the big radio show we do. So that's always a work day. And depending on what else has to happen that day, it makes it like sometimes 2.5 work days on one day. And so at most I'm coming to like today should be Sunday maybe, might be a Saturday, could be Wednesday. I don't know.
And that doesn't take into account any of the things on the honeydew list.
Oh no. Those just whenever. Those are at my speed, right? Those are at my speed. I keep telling her, I said, listen, you don't have to ask every 6 months. I'll get around to it.
Exactly. Look, if I told you I'm going to do it, look, you don't have to remind me every 6 months.
That's right. I'm going to do it.
My wife just asked me yesterday, are you ever going to put up those curtain rods? I said, ever? Yeah. Am I ever going to do it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, first you're going to have to give me the opportunity to remember what the hell you're talking about. And then 2, maybe.
Oh, well, she knows she has to remind me. My wife knows me well enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was a good weekend for me, man. The weather finally cooled off a little bit here, so I got some stuff outside done that I've been needing to get done. Spent some time relaxing. Kids were gone. Grandkids are gone. So I just got a chance to enjoy a nice, quiet house. And, you don't realize how much you look forward to that until there are little kids in your house again.
Oh, yeah. Joyous. Great stuff. Good stuff. Yeah.
It's like, you're like, wait, you hear that? You hear that?
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, I'm good. I'm good with shutting out all noises, so it doesn't matter. Make them all go away.
Well, I like it all over the house. Like, quiet all over the house, not just in my room. Once I'm in our suite, we have our bed master suite is like truly a master suite. The only thing we don't have in there is a kitchen. Once we're in there, it's like Fort Knox. You're locked out, nothing. But I'd like to be like, I don't know, in my family room, my backyard, just chilling, no loud sounds, stuff like that.
I could be in the middle of a stadium of 40,000 screaming people and just clear the mechanism, go silent, and just be.
For those of you who are listening to the program, you really had to see the big cheese-eating grin he had on his face. Mike was like, it was like bliss, like ignorant bliss. Like, I know nothing. I hear nothing.
Hear nothing. You usually come out of it with, did you hear me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Whatever.
Are you going to do it? I'm not paying attention. I just said I heard you.
I heard you. I didn't say I was listening.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There was noise coming out of your mouth. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, let's get ready because there's tons of noise that's about to come out of our mouths talking about this the news today. So let's go ahead and get started with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. If you've got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, probably got one of their barrels and don't even know it. Well, now you can buy from them factory direct. Go over to hitmanindustries.net. You can get AR barrels, any length, any caliber for your next AR pistol or rifle build. In fact, I haven't seen the guys in a week. Back in town, got to go over there and visit them this week. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWG-holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, outdoor gear, you can get everything except a gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Do us a favor, do them a favor, do yourself a favor, visit their website. All you got to do is follow the links in the description to the program. Go there, check them out, spend some money with them, and if you like what you by the way, if you like what you see, spend some money with them, and then make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. Also would like to encourage you, if you're watching the program live, we're taking your comments live. That's 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We're live on Rumble, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and on Twitter. So check us out if you like. Once again, if you got something to say, go ahead and say it, and we will reply and share your comments with the audience. Also, if you haven't also done so, please make sure to like, share, subscribe. All right, let's get into it. Needless to say, the left has gone out of their way to promote and talk about, well, how do I want to put it? They don't like the decisions that the Supreme Court has been making. And so now they have decided that in order to rebuild confidence in the Supreme Court, because clearly there is a lack of confidence in the Supreme Court according to them, they have decided that the way in which to address the growing discontent in their eyes with the Supreme Court, well, it's to go ahead and reform it and change it so that you can basically so that they can have more liberals on the Supreme Court. And they came out today and they introduced their changes. It says here, this is being reported by the Washington Free Beacon, Biden-Harris endorsed Supreme Court reform bill that would push out conservative justices. That's pretty much what the goal is. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris on Monday endorsed a bill that limits the Supreme Court justices to 18-year terms and allows presidents to add a new justice every 2 years, collectively allowing the Biden administration to push out the court's conservative majority. Quote, I support a system in which the president would appoint a justice every 2 years to spend 18 years in active service on the Supreme Court, Biden wrote in a Washington Post op-ed. Yeah, because Biden wrote it. You know he wrote it, right? Endorsing the Supreme Court Biennial Appointments and Term Limits Act. Harris, the new presumptive Democratic nominee, also supported the legislation in a Monday statement. The bill would effectively enable the executive branch to shift the court from its 6-3 conservative majority to a 5-4 progressive majority by replacing Chief Justice John Roberts and Associate Justice Clarence Thomas with new appointees. The Dispatch's John McCormick reported Thomas has served for 32 years, while Roberts hit the 18-year mark just last summer. The bill introduced by Senate Democrats states that a replaced justice would take senior status and sit out of appellate jurisdiction cases, but retain the authority to hear original jurisdiction cases and to exercise all other powers of the office. If passed, the legislation would, according to Biden, reduce the chance that any single presidency radically alters the makeup of the court for generations to come and help restore the public's faith in the Supreme Court. Now, Mike, I got to ask you, have you noticed any significant public lack of faith in the Supreme Court?
No. I have noticed anger from the the Democrat and liberal elite over the Supreme Court because they won't let them have their way. They won't let them do what they want. They want to be tyrants. Craig, we've been throwing words and phrases around the last 2 weeks or so. Stuff like coup d'etat, right? Well, guess what? Now that they've found a way to corrupt the executive branch by bringing in an appointment to a nomination without any votes having occurred whatsoever, right? So taking one branch of the government, coup d'etat style, now that one branch of the government wants to go after another branch and diminish them so that they have to report to the executive branch. It's why our forefathers put the 3 branches of government in, right? So they had equal balance, checks and balances. And now you have one corrupt coup d'etat branch trying to do the exact same thing to another branch, to corrupt them and take away their authority so that it would now be 2 branches on one side versus one on the other.
Well, and Mike, what gets me about this also is what they want is they want the values of the Supreme Court to switch with almost every president. So in other words, their whole thing is the problem. The advantage right now is, first of all, we went through I don't know how many years of a liberal majority on the court. Think about all the things, all of the laws that they basically wrote from the judicial bench. I mean, we'll use Obamacare as an example. You literally had them write it as a tax.
Go back to Roe v. Wade.
Oh yeah. You have Roe v. Wade, where literally you even had Ruth Bader Ginsburg. While she believed in the right to abortion, she believed that was a horrible decision because they literally pulled the right to privacy out of nowhere. It's nowhere in the Constitution, anywhere, and they just made it up. The whole thing with where they were looking at gun laws and creating levels of scrutiny, they just made it up out of nowhere. And now we've got justices who are actually, basing their decisions on the Constitution.
Right.
And they don't like that. Because, see, like I've always said before, in their eyes, the role of a judge, of a justice, of the Supreme Court is to right wrongs, not to interpret the law as it's stated in the Constitution.
Yeah, and this is why it was created this way. Remember the Senate for 6 years, the House for 2 years, the presidency for 4 years, and the justices for lifetime appointments. That way, there would never be any aligning of votes, based on bringing all 3 into one power at the same time. There would always be alternate voting for them, and for those that elected or nominated the judge, and then those that certified the judges, they were elected on different cycles. It never would line up to be what they're trying to do right now and make it a tyrannical appointment from one branch to the other.
I will always say, and I loved it when I forgot who I heard say this originally, but they're like, the role of the judiciary is not to be democratic. They are specifically to be. Yeah. They are the most important part of the Republican form of government. In that, they recognize it's about the law, and I get it. If a law is a bad law, well, then you need to change the law. You don't reinterpret the law in order to get the outcome that you want. But that's what liberals want. They just want to change They just want to change the determination in order to get the outcome that they want. Folks, these folks do not care about our form of government. They don't. For them, it doesn't matter whether it's elections, doesn't matter whether it's the judicial decisions or litigation. All they care about is, did I get what I want? If I didn't get what I want, then the system must change until I get what I want.
Yeah, Craig, the analogy that I used to hear all the time was their job to call them fair or foul. And if you don't like the way they're calling them, hit them up the middle.
Right. You hit them right up the middle. And, instead of trying to change who's making the calls, how about you get up in there and swing the bat?
That's it. Yep. You want to change the pitcher? You go ahead. But we're going to call where the ball lands. That's what we're doing.
There you go. And by the way, and that kind of, but it's this sort of pressure, and this is what it is. Because here's the deal, folks. They know that they don't have enough votes in the House or the Senate to be able to make these sorts of changes. And chances are they're not going to win the White House. But they want to apply pressure, which is the same exact thing they do in everything else. They want to try and apply pressure. For example, take what they've done to Israel, and we know that Israel right now in the war with Hamas has taken unprecedented steps in order to avoid the deaths of innocents. We know this. We've seen this. You can look at all the data information. The innocent or the civilian to soldier death rate or ratio in this urban war is better than any in modern history. And yet and still, we have folks over in the Biden administration who are pushing, who are pressuring our ally Israel, to not engage. Here you have, this is once again a piece from over at the Free Beacon. It says the Biden-Harris administration has pressured Israel to forestall confrontation with Hezbollah, and that policy just backfired. U.S. officials scrambled to urge restraint from Israel following a strike from Iran-backed terror group that killed children. The Biden-Harris administration has long worked to keep Israel from confronting Hezbollah. That policy backfired Saturday when the Iran-backed terror group launched an attack on the Jewish state that killed 12 civilians, mostly children. Now the administration is once again pushing to contain Israel's response. A Hezbollah missile strike struck a Druze town in northern Israel on Saturday, exploding on a soccer field and killing several children in the deadliest standalone attack on the Jewish state since October 7. Israel launched several retaliatory strikes across Lebanon, including strikes on Hezbollah weapon caches, and is reportedly plotting a larger response. Now, Israel basically, Mike, as has been noted here, if Israel had been allowed to do what they needed to do, if we had not been pressuring them, let me clarify, I'm using we in the very big context. If Biden and Harris had not been pressuring him to not take action, they probably could have prevented something like this, would you say?
Oh, absolutely. This would have been over. This would have been over probably October 17th. I'd have given it 10 days. You let Israel go and you say, carry on. You're defending your borders. It'd have been done. It'd have been over with. They'd have pushed Palestine back into the dirt, or back the Palestinians and Hezbollah back into the dirt. But no, we had to get involved. And with this, we support a free Israel, we support a free Palestine. Make up your damn mind. Make up your damn mind. It's ridiculous to think that people believe when they come out with this duplicity of policy. It's absolutely, I don't fathom it. How people buy into these policies. But Greg, did you see the little bit of karma, related to this at the Olympics this past weekend with the judo?
No, I did not. Oh, wait. Tell me, was it the instance where the Muslim refused to shake the hand of the Jewish wrestler, and in the next match he got his arm broken?
It was Israeli judo and a Tajikistan judo participant, and at the end of the match, the Israeli lost and still went to shake his hand, and the Tajiki said, aloha snack bar, gave him the old aloha snack bar, and wouldn't shake his hand. So the Israeli he'd lost, right? So the Tajik goes into the next match against Japanese guy, right? And the Japanese guy's breaks or dislocates his arm, of the Tajikistan. He goes, kamikaze. And now the Israeli guy's back in because the Tajikistan got his arm broken. So.
Well, there you go. See, karma.
Yep.
But honestly, and this is the thing, it probably would have been better for Israel, and I think better for the Palestinians if we had just stepped aside and said, "Do your thing, we'll give you what you need, but get it done fast."
Yeah, but they wanted to play nice, right? And they wanted to, keep the U.S. on their side. But I'm telling you, listen, you understand that the ability and the stockpile that Israel has on the ground at any time, they could clear everything out of their country within a week, 10 days, and be done with it.
Yeah.
And just be over it. And then deal with the world courts later. Hey, you know what? You don't like it? Don't come to Israel.
Okay, exactly. We're not coming to you, so don't come to Israel.
That's it, yeah.
But I just think this idea of asking permission when, I'm sorry, Hamas did this. Hamas committed this, and I got a guy I know who's constantly trying to say himself, well, but this and well, but that. I'm like, dude, here's the thing: if you don't support terrorists, don't hide terrorists, don't let terrorists hide in your schools and in your hospitals, then maybe you won't get bombs dropped on you.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if other countries around the world started saying, we don't agree with how the United States is patrolling their southern border, so we're going to stick our nose in it and threaten you with sanctions. And I'm sorry, what? Whose border is it? Is our border? Okay. All right. I got something for you right here.
Right. I got something for you. Wait, how's it go? I can't read it. There we go. There we go. Read between the lines.
There you go. Read between the lines. There you go.
Okay, moving right along. Talking about threats. Now, we knew that Joe Biden was threatened to get out of the race. We knew, I'm going to tell you, I knew that basically what happened was, and this is now, there is a reporter now who's basically noting that Obama basically threatened to use the 25th Amendment against Biden. The report as it came out, and it's being reported by an investigative reporter. Where's he at here? That's what I'm looking for right there. It says a detailed account of Biden's withdrawal from the 2024 race has emerged, alleging high-level political maneuvering. I like that. High-level political maneuvering led by former President Obama. A report framed by reporter Seymour Hersh suggests right. Biden's cognitive decline became undeniable after a poor debate performance and a health incident in Las Vegas. The article claims Obama threatened to invoke the 25th Amendment, pressuring Biden to step down. It states that Democratic leaders, reportedly House Speaker Pelosi, Senate Majority Schumer, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and major donors pushed for this change, with VP Harris positioned as the replacement. Basically, it says that he actually first called Harris in order to get permission to use the 25th Amendment threat. And it says here, according to one source, quote, Obama called Biden after breakfast and said, here's the deal. We have Kamala's approval to invoke the 25th Amendment. The piece portrays Obama as a key influencer in the process, suggests Harris's nomination may depend on her poll performance. Now, other reports that I've seen, Mike, have said that Obama didn't want him to endorse Kamala Harris. That's why at first Biden didn't, but then Biden decided, I'm going to stick it to him and I'm going to go ahead and endorse. It was like 4 days before Obama finally endorsed Harris.
Yeah, well, they had to be cautious, right? Because if Biden leaves, then Harris is the president, and that's not what they wanted. That's not what the power brokers wanted, because they didn't want Harris in charge. They still want Biden being their little puppet, while Harris is now their nominee puppet. Okay. And you remember last week you sat right here, Craig, and you read the story how Pelosi led this charge to get Biden to agree to step down from running for re-election. And I stood here and shook my head and said, "You're full of crap. That's what they're going. That's what they're telling you. It had nothing to do with that. It was all the power brokers behind the scene. And boom, here you go today."
But I just thought it was interesting that they threatened to invoke the 25th Amendment. I'm like,
yeah.
My question is this: If you believed that I will still say this: if he's not qualified, if he's not in any condition to run for president, that kind of means he's not in any condition to be president.
Well, and again, they did not want him to leave being president, because that means that she becomes the president, and then she is the presumptive nominee because she's the head of the party at that point. Your president is the head of your party. They want the time, this last 100 days, to control her and figure out what they're going to do with her, whether they keep her or dump her when it comes for the convention time. That's still up in the air. I know everybody's talking about money, but guess what? She raised $100 million of her own funds allegedly in a weekend, so that money doesn't matter anymore. So now they have the ability to do whatever they want with her. If he leaves, if they 25th Amendment him, she's in control. She can now call that out because she's not Sleepy Joe.
I think they also wanted to see how she would handle the coronation, and if it don't work out in this first month, then they replace her at the convention.
Exactly right. Exactly.
I could definitely see that. Now, the key has got to be this. Right now, she still has the honeymoon. Nobody's really questioning her. It's kind of funny. We're watching as they're rewriting the history about who she is and what she's done. And the candidate who couldn't get 2% in California 4 years ago, all of a sudden is the darling of the Democratic Party, the coming of Obama, the second coming.
Right. That
Obama.
All of a sudden, she didn't accuse Trump of rape. She didn't accuse Kavanaugh of rape. She didn't accuse Biden of rape. All of a sudden, those things never happened. They haven't happened.
She was never the border czar. She had nothing to do with the border.
No. I mean, we sent her to the border, and we made her in charge of the border, but she was the border czar with a TSAR, not a CZAR. Mm-hmm. She was the czar, not the czar.
Right. She didn't lock black people up either.
No, definitely not.
Especially not innocent black people. Never. Nope. None of that. That story from Vice is going to just disappear. You're not going to be able to Google it, find it nowhere.
Nope, definitely not.
Yeah, no, the question really is going to be, is she going to be able to stand up to the scrutiny? And I'll tell you, it's already coming out. I got a piece that just hit over at the Washington Times. And there's tons of pieces that are hitting her in a bunch of different ways. Her, the prosecutor, her is the border czar, her is whether or not she's a moderate or a liberal. All of those things are now hitting. Now, they're hitting in conservative media. The question is any of it going to break through to the mainstream media? And I know that at least in ethnic media, I know they're doing a lot of the questioning her as a prosecutor. The problem is that in many cases they're going to wind up talking to the very same power brokers who are trying to make sure she gets in there.
Yeah.
So they're going to lie.
And they think that she can hold her own. If they think that she can hold her own. And I can see the confidence building on her because they're putting out her little speeches that don't talk about yellow school buses, where she has moments of coherence in her statements, and they think she's going to last. If they try and take her smart-ass speech pattern, the condescending speech pattern, and put her in a debate against Trump, oh my God, that's going to be more popular than the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. It's going to be this. He's going to give her one. Hey, sweetie, look here, and that's going to be it. She's going to go off.
Oh God! Please don't let him call her sweetie.
He's going to call her one. He's going to trigger her with one, a feminist name, and that's going to be it. Listen, hey, honey, calm down over there. Your people, they need to stay calm.
He's going to call her a gal. He's going to use the word "you people," and God, the thing is that none of that, I consider absolutely none of that to be beyond Donald Trump. I just think, man, just focus on a record. Focus on a record.
Watch your
Wow, it's gonna be that's gonna be a fun debate. I really was looking forward to her debating J.D. Vance because I think that is a. I mean, you want to talk about being out of your league. She's not there with J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance is having none of the allowing you to treat him like he's gonna be like, look, if you can't handle it, the heat, stay out of the kitchen.
So let's say this: the debate with J.D. Vance would have been like an Ivy League, a debate. Watching point after point, fact after fact.
Mm-hmm.
The one with Trump's going to be like playing dozens on the corner. That's what it's going to be like. It's
She's not ready. You know, it's going to be a debate with Donald Trump is like it's like a street match. It's like, look, he is going to constantly drag you off the mat, right?
Yeah,
he is constantly going to be trying to drag you off the mat, and you've got to find a way to either not let him drag you off the mat, or when he's dragging you off the mat, you got to kick him in the mouth. And she's not equipped for that. I'm sorry.
No.
She's not. She spent her teen and adult formative years, those years where you learn how to handle stuff like that. She was in Canada at a prep school in Canada. So no, she wasn't in Oakland back then. She don't get the girl. Look, no, you didn't. No, she did not. She didn't grow up with that. So yeah, no, and going to Howard, which is what they call it, the Black Harvard, which means it's just as woke and bad as Harvard. No, she's not ready for that.
No.
Mm-mm.
No, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
It is definitely going to be fun. But once again, with all of that, folks, I still want to continue to say this. The polls right now have pretty much gone back to what they were pre-debate, in that Trump is still winning in a bunch of the swing. He's either winning or he's tied in a bunch of swing states. Yeah. She is as popular as she's going to get right now. This is her zenith, because once the convention comes out, I'm just going to be real with you. Once they start talking all their woke stuff, it is going to crash and burn like the opening ceremony at the Olympics. It is going to be a woke fest, and most of America is going to look at it and say, "Nah, I'm good." So no, this is as good as it gets for her. So all Donald Trump has to do is just keep hitting on the issues, and let her sink herself. And we all have to work hard. We got to keep doing what we need to do in order to get the word out.
Yeah, got to beat the cheat. That's what you got to do.
There you go. Beat the cheat. Hey, look, run it up, leave no doubt.
That's it.
All right. All right, in 2A news, we have a big 2A victory that took place there out in Pennsylvania, and it has to do with the right to carry. All right, here is being reported in MLN by Alan Gottlieb. The Second Amendment Foundation takes out 2 Pennsylvania gun permit schemes. District Judge Christopher Connor with the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Pennsylvania issued an order granting summary judgment to the Second Amendment Foundation and its partners, finding the state's law banning the carry of a firearm in a vehicle without a license unconstitutional. He further declared that the ban on firearm possession without a license during a state of emergency is facially unconstitutional, and enjoined Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Colonel Christopher Paris from enforcing those provisions. And this is a big one, man, because once again, this speaks to the fundamental right to be able to own or possess a firearm, to be able to defend yourself. And that's what you're talking about here, is you have a right to be able to defend yourself. And I think that's what he's looking to in this thing.
Yeah, and listen, this is another one of those little nitpicky things, Craig. This is like, okay, you can have guns, but you can't have ammo, right? All right. This was, you can have a gun and you're allowed to take it with you, but you can't take it in your car unless you have a specific license to carry in your car. Well, what the hell? What am I supposed to do? How am I just supposed to miracle it from place to place? You know, you have to be able to transport it in your car. And we're not talking about, right, like, okay, the guy's got it on him in the car. No, there's still your concealed license for that, but he couldn't have it anywhere else in the vehicle. The license didn't cover that. Or if you didn't have a license, it didn't cover it. It was so diluted the way this law was written that it had to go. And they were able to successfully, Second Amendment Foundation, to get it going.
Well, and that's where you're seeing a lot of these victories is once again in these little tangential, these laws that make it so that you don't know, can I or can't I? It makes it so that you as a citizen will decide it's cheaper and it's easier for me not to exercise my right than it is for me to figure out whether or not I am in the midst of committing a criminal act while I'm exercising that right.
Yes. Yeah.
And anyway, hats off to the Second Amendment Foundation. You know, like I said, folks like them, like the Firearms Policy Coalition, folks like Gun Owners of America, you know, the NRA, to the degree that they're doing what they do, they're fighting the fight right now in the courts, and they're doing a phenomenal job. And if you are not a member or supporting any of those organizations, I'm going to tell you right now, pick one, pick two, pick three, pick them all. Pick your state organizations. Whoever's filing lawsuits and doing this work in your state, support them. They need your help. They need your support. The state, the government's using your tax dollars against them. You already are paying the enemy. Why don't you pay the people who are fighting for your rights? Just saying. Kick some cash down to them. Help them out.
You see the big victories. You know, we see Bruin, we see Heller, we see McDonald, we see those, right? But these small brush wars, these brush fights, are just as important, if not important. You know, we had the forced reset trigger last week. You got Pennsylvania this week. You had Wisconsin over the weekend. You know, where they're slowly fighting back, getting back. Again, these little battles, these little brush wars that set the ground rules for a Bruin, for a Heller, for a McDonald. They lay down, you know, they prep the battlefield for it, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. So support them. Go find them. Like I said, Second Amendment Foundation, Gun Owners of America, Firearms Policy Coalition, the National Rifle Association, or any number of state organizations, California Rifle and Pistol, Florida Carry, you name them, go support the groups. Please do.
New Jersey Second Amendment Society.
Definitely New Jersey Second Amendment Society. They be doing a gangster style out there in New Jersey.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah. Well, it's Jersey, you know. Hey, how you doing?
It's Jersey. Forget about it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Make sure you use the discount code, the rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word, and get your Hog Holster today. All right, you know, there's been a lot of questioning of Kamala Harris, and we talked about the rewriting of history. And one of the things that they've been talking about is, well, her job as the border czar. And, well, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, no, she never was the border czar. Well, according to the Babylon Bee, Kamala admits she can't remember if she was in charge of the border, as she was pretty drunk these last 4 years, and honestly, it's all a bit hazy.
She going that Pelosi track. She's following in those footsteps.
That must be a California thing, I guess, huh? All right, but Mike, now
it's all that wine. It's all that wine out there.
So now, Mike, the interesting part about it is that the media is falling in line with the changing of the narrative, because we talked a little bit about DNC. Here, I want you to watch this video, Mike, and you'll watch on one side you have the media talking about Kamala Harris, and on the other side you'll have the straight up talking points of the DNC. Check it out.
She was never actually border czar.
Border czar, which was not something that was formally conveyed upon her.
She's been labeled incorrectly by some members of the right as the border czar.
Republicans named her the border czar.
Republicans have always exaggerated what her job was at the border.
Republicans, again, have labeled her the border czar.
But that's not exactly what President Biden asked her to do.
She was never put in charge of the border.
That wasn't actually her task.
Not to secure it, but to address the underlying roots of migration. She was charged with leading the administration's efforts to address the root causes of migration.
The root causes of migration to the U.S.
The root causes.
Root causes.
Root causes. The root causes.
Root causes
of immigration.
We also want to point out that right now apprehension numbers continue to decrease in our country, especially over the last few months.
And I just want to note that border crossings have been going down.
And illegal border crossings are lower right now.
Migrant crossings continue to drop.
Border crossings are way down.
Border crossings are down.
And that, by the way, leads to our final parting shot here. Once again, being reported by the Babylon Bee, you know, fake news you can trust. Exhausted journalist finally gets to bed after a long day of copying and pasting Democrat talking points. That's pretty much how it goes, eh?
It's not easy being greasy. Look at this guy, you know?
It's not easy being greasy. What really gets me about a lot of this stuff, though, man, as they were talking about it, is I'm like, it's so obvious. It's like, can you people not be original? Can you not? How about this? How about you just use your AI and look up a synonym for some of these words, so you're not saying the same exact thing.
Right. Root causes. Border.
Root causes. Root causes. Anyway.
Border crossing.
Oh, by the way, the one thing that I forgot that we didn't point out there is there's actually a resolution, a House resolution, where Democrats who were in charge at the time were acknowledged Kamala Harris as the border czar. Go figure. All right, folks. Well, that's about time. That's about time to wrap it up. But before we go, we're going to give another quick shout out to our sponsors. Mikey, take it away.
Yeah, Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Now you can get AR rifle barrels or AR pistol barrels, any caliber, any length you desire for your next AR rifle or pistol build. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, outdoor gear, you can get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Please take a moment, visit our sponsors. Just follow the links in the description to this program. And with that, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We're going to be back tomorrow on Taco Tuesday. Till then, stay safe. And if you get a chance, remember to send a few downrange. Holler at you later.